Welcome to Comfy Havoc number 2. I'm Echo Van Grey Wolf. No, sorry, let me just touch up that hair just a touch. Okay, this is probably as good as it's gonna get. I don't have a hairdresser. And no, I'm not affording because I can't. Anyway, so I made 4 videos or 3 videos about fucking size not mattering in a fight and everything, and I took it in a direction that I wasn't gonna take it, but now I'm taking it there. So technically, this is part 4 beta, but what it actually is just going to be a whole new different concept of your size mattering in a fight, your skills mattering in a fight, your race, your age, your gender, because there is some racism in martial arts and there is some sexism in martial arts and there is some sizeism in martial arts. So let's just, if you get this far in this video, Echo, just call it evolution and change of martial arts. All right. Hopefully, I won't forget that when I post this damn thing. 1, we got to understand that your race, your size, your gender has nothing to do with your skill level. 2, to have good skill level, you have to hit the gym or the dojo every class. Even if you miss a class, you need to train at home. After class, even if you don't want to, even though you're sore as fuck, you still need to get that extra training in. Because only you know how good you are, and only the Sifu, Sensei, Shidoshi, Maestre, all those teachers, know the potential you have. It is their job to unlock your potential. It is not their job to make you UFC champion. It is not their job to make you a king of the streets. It's their job to unlock your potential, and where you go from there is a choice. I understand that I said that is a choice. All right? If you choose to be a bad martial artist, you will run into a bad martial artist who will probably be just as good, if not better than you, and they will humble your shit. Okay? I mean this in the most peaceful manner because a lot of people seem to understand it. Small guys, we have a Napoleon complex. At least that's what they keep thinking. But, here's the thing. If you do your research, you'll understand it. Way back in the day, most Asians didn't make it past 5'8". No. 5'6" was pushing it. 5'7" was a miracle. 5'8" was genetic freak. 5'9", 6 feet and on were genetic freaks. However, it also depends on genealogy. Also depends on race mixing. Also depends on location. Because a lot of people who live in the mountains have shorter legs or have longer legs. I don't know how that shit works. I am not a genealogist, but just understand your location, your body adapts to your location. I'm short. It's by genetic. My mom was 5'6". My dad was 5'5" or 5'4". I don't know. They were both taller than me. No, he had to be between 5'6" and 5'7" too, because they were both taller than me. They're both still taller than me. Though he's dead in ashes, she's still taller than me. So your genetic makeup, which comes from your parents, which comes from their parents, which comes from their parents, etc., etc., this is going to determine your weight and your height. But what also determines your weight and your height, mostly your weight, is your diet. Your height is mostly determined by genealogy. So if you come from someone who was tall and slim, you have a good chance of being tall and slim. If you come from someone who's short and stocky, you have a good chance of being short and stocky. Now, obesity has been proven to not be genetic, but once you cross a certain threshold, there's barely a chance that you can go back to being slim or stocky. All right? But if you put in that fucking work and you literally want to change, then and you want to do it for you, not because you want to please everybody, then put in that work and you'll get back. I have to work on this area right here and these. All right, so I'm going back to doing my push-ups every chance I get. My alarm clock is set, and to be honest, I've rarely done push-ups at push-up time. Something has either gotten in the way, or I was filming, or I was doing something, and the time just got by me. So I'm going back. I'm going to start slow with maybe 20 push-ups versus 100 push-ups a day because I'm 48 years old. I'll be lucky if I can get 20 push-ups. So, let's go. Now, when I was in the Army at 37, well, I could rock out 100 push-ups because I got smoked so many damn nights and so many damn days I didn't have any choice. I could do push-ups in my sleep. Certain drill sergeants know that to be true when they caught me sleeping and made me do push-ups while I was sleeping because they caught me doing push-ups while I was sleeping. Anyway, long story. That was Delta Company. All hell Delta Company. And hell the bulk of Bravo, minus at least one drill sergeant. Anyway, moving on. Your size is a small factor in a fight to me. And I specifically say this to me because I'm 5'3". Everybody is bigger than me. There are very few people who are not bigger than me that aren't children. My more recent 17-year-old and 16-year-old nephews are taller than me. My 23-year-old and 25-year-old nephews are taller than me. My nieces are my size or taller. I have one cousin who's probably inch shorter than me. Shout out to Pierre. But everybody else is huge in comparison compared to me. Pierre's cut. I used to be cut. I'm a little fat in the gut now. But, you know, I'm in fairly good shape. Yes, you see these Fritos. Yes, I'm going to eat them. Not in this video, but yes, you see them. And there's a Gatorade over there. Gatorade should give me a job. So should Fritos. But anyway, that way I can bring better video content to you. And I will work on my cussing so I won't do as much. Because we don't want Frito-Lay to be mad at me because I swear too much. But anyway, that being said, if you want to be good at fighting, you need to fight. I'm not saying that to promote violence. I'm saying that because the only way you're actually going to know what works is to basically field test that shit. The problem with field testing that shit is if you're sparring with someone, it's a sparring match. It is not real. It is contact, but controlled contact. You understand? Versus if you go outside and just start street fights and set up scenarios where you have no choice but to fight. That's stupid. Don't do it. You should have enough confidence in self-awareness to know what you can do in a fight and what you can't. It's lots of the things that I preach on these videos is what you can and can't do, which goes back to my rule of 70-30. 30% of what you know in the dojo will work in the street. 70% of what you know in the dojo will only work in the dojo. Now, there's always an exception to every rule. Understand that. I say this all the time also. There's an exception to every rule. My rules are not the be-all of the best ideas of rules. Just know that they're there. You know, I don't remember if I put deodorant on. So, we're going to cover that now. Because I did just get out of the shower, and I do remember focusing mostly on my hair. But you caught me doing in both this video and my prep show. Now, like I said, as a martial artist and choking on deodorant, you're going to need to put in that work. If you want to get good, you got to put in that work. But I'm going to flip the script and become a complete hypocrite now. To know how good you are at fighting, you're going to get in a few fights. Fights in the dojos, 9 times out of 10, they're a controlled environment. Fights in the UFC, they are a controlled environment. And they will keep you on your toes, and friendly competition builds great rivalries, and it also, when y'all work that shit out in the ring, you're gonna find out. You know, or as they say in the Army and the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, and probably SpaceX and Coast Guard, fuck around and find out. Alright. I'm not one to promote fuck around and find out. However, I have told people fuck around and find out. I've also said that this is a warning, not an invitation. But if you watch my other videos, I've also said this. How you got it worked out in here, don't always transfer here because you know your plan. You don't know that guy across the battlefield's plan. You don't know how much rage this guy holds. You don't know what skill level he is. But I promise you, when you fight that person, this is where experience will either make you or break you. If you lose and you get up and you don't have to go to the hospital and you heal up, good. You've learned from that because you learn more by losing than you learn by winning. Alright? Now it may sound, oh, well, I want to be the best. The best never loses. Wrong. As long as you breathe, and don't you ever think that the best can't lose, because sometimes the best fighter doesn't always win the fight. Even if they're on the highest part of the... I'm sorry, this stuff is trying to stumble, and I'm not trying to deal with this fucking mess that's about to happen. No, I don't have psychic powers, but I have enough common sense to know that that's going to be a clusterfuck. Anyway, sometimes the best fighter doesn't always win the fight. Sometimes the underdog wins that bitch because sometimes it's just his time, you know. And if you happen to be the unfortunate victim of that L, you know, it's bound to happen. I like to tell people the truth when it comes to my shit. I like to tell people the truth when it comes to fighting. I can get knocked out, just like any damn body else. But it's gonna happen when I'm already fucked up. You know, it's not gonna happen while I'm always prepared for a fight, and it can happen then and there. But it's not gonna happen unless they catch me sleeping. No, it's not gonna happen unless I happen to be somewhere where I'm not prepared, where I'm walking down the street with my girlfriend, if I had one, and they attack me. Might not happen then because I might have enough inspiration to know that I have to kill this person. No, I'm not promoting violence, but at that same time, if you know that your family members or somebody's in danger, you will be surprised at the lengths of things you will be able to do. Most of my fights I've won, I've never said that I wasn't scared of the person I was fighting. Come to find out, there's two truths in that. I wasn't just scared of the person I was fighting. I was scared of who I was going to become to make sure that I had to do some unbecoming things to survive this fight. Hopefully that makes sense. So, let's close this out. 1, you need to put in the work. 2, your experience will be your one true teacher. No matter how many times you go to a dojo, no matter how many times you get in that MMA ring or UFC ring or any of that shit, understand that your experience is going to be your teacher. Now, understand that once you start fighting professionally, you are not allowed to fight in the streets. That will be illegal in, like, I think 48 of the 50 states. I don't really know. I don't really care. I do not plan on fighting in the streets unless there is a paycheck involved or unless I don't have a fucking choice where someone's trying to hurt me or unalive me, so then I gotta do what I gotta do. Now, understand, I've had some military training prior to going to the military. I had military training in the military. I still practice my martial arts damn near daily. Just because I don't make a video all the time doesn't mean I don't practice. When I don't get the 10 minutes or the 20 minutes, I at least get in 5. If it's only, just that versus, kicks and stuff like that, I put that work in. For 3 years, I could only do hand strikes because the doctors and the physical therapists said no kung fu, no wushu, no Wing Chun, no nothing. But they forgot Wing Chun also has hand positions. Praying mantis has hand positions. Tigers have hand positions. Dragon has hand position. Crane, snake, I could still train in them. I just couldn't do the footwork. And I couldn't do the leg work. But I could still train my hands to strike and be just as deadly. It's just a matter of grace of God that I never had to get in a fight while I couldn't use my legs. I'm much better with my feet than I am with my hands. There are also movies where martial artists are much better with their hands than their feet or vice versa. But you got to put that work in. Finally, I started learning martial arts at the age of 7. Between 7 and 9, I discovered that I need to know how to beat the weaknesses of martial arts. Now, before you go jumping in the comments and saying martial arts don't have a weakness, yes, they do. All martial arts have a weakness of some sort. Now, you might not find it in the martial art, but you damn sure will find it in the martial artist. So I started taking martial arts not for belts, but to be able to beat other martial artists who knew set martial arts, like Kempo. Every joint is a pressure point, every strike is a block, and every block is a strike. So learning Kempo teaches me pressure points, pressure point awareness, how to find it on myself so I can find it on others, how to strike, and then just add praying mantis into your Kempo. Add tiger into your Kempo. Add Wing Chun into your Kempo. Add everything you can into your Kempo, providing on your body. So, which is what I was supposed to talk about from the jump. So we're going to go into body and then we'll make a new video after that. Now, after you get through all the things that I just said, let's talk about body sizes and shapes. Alright? First and foremost, may I respect the Sammo Hung And if you haven't seen Fat Dragon or any of his movies or his TV show Martial Law, then you need to get your ass in gear and go watch that, and you'll figure out why I said mad respect to Sammo, because Sammo is a big dude. He's just not a really tall dude. He's taller than me, but he does kung fu. Therefore, Sammo is the exception to the rule. Sammo's movies, Sammo has always been a plump fella. No offense, Sammo, you're one of my favorites. So, and I want to work with you one day before I die. But, you know, Sammo can move for a big man. Now, Sammo's like between 5'7" and 5'11". He's fairly sized. And then his weight, you know, like I said, Fat Dragon's one of the best movies you'll ever see. I liked it. Y'all might not like it, but I liked it. But Sammo still makes movies. They're just more back in Hong Kong versus back in the United States. Same thing with Jackie. You know, they make movies, but they're kind of more out of the martial art and more into the background so that the younger generation can come through, which is good. And that's mad respect. And if you're watching, you guys can give me a job, because I really don't want to do police science and criminal justice, but that's what I went to the freaking college for. Anyway, I got 2 classes till graduation. Now, let's bring it down. If I'm a martial arts instructor, and let's say The Rock, The Undertaker, and Kaz, you know, him and whatever the hell his name was with the wild hair, came into me and asked me to teach them a martial art. Well, Enzo, I could teach all of the stuff that I could use to work. Cass, Rock, and Undertaker are exceptionally tall. I would have reserves of teaching them because they're so fucking tall. Alright? My shit would help them combat somebody like me, but it probably wouldn't help them beat somebody like me because of size. Their size, I would have to make sure that they figured out how to get faster. They would have to get faster because they're fighting someone who is smaller. And when you're smaller, you have less weight to distribute, and you have to make up for your power with speed. Alright? Where those guys are big, they have power, and they may have speed, but they may not have speed. So, like I said, for Enzo, I would teach him lots of Kung Fu and Kempo. For like The Rock, The Undertaker, and Kaz, you know, I gotta stick with karate, maybe some Thai fighting, maybe jiu-jitsu, maybe judo. Something where if they get their hands on you, they'll tear your ass a new one. Versus trying to use their limbs like for punching and kicking and shit like that. And it's because of their size. Like I said, I have a rule, and I try to stick with it. If you're 6 foot and below, martial arts is good to go. If you're 6'2" and above, Kung Fu don't really have a lot of love. It's not that you can't do it. It's just that, depending on the style of Kung Fu, your long legs and long arms aren't going to do you much good. If anything, they're going to make you a target. So let's say I'm as big as Rey Mysterio, and I'm fighting someone as big as The Rock, who's 6'6", every bit of 300 pounds, but I'm only like maybe $190. Alright? I'd have to verse my power versus your power. But I'm not going to outpower you because I know that you're bigger, which means you're probably naturally stronger without doing weights. So now I got to figure out how I got to stop you. I got to find out how good is your cardio. I got to find out how tough you are, how strong you are. Where you, on the other hand, looking down at me being 190, 5'8", you know, you're just thinking I'm going to just choke slam shit out you or whatever. And if I get my hands on you, it's over. On the opposite side of that track, I got to be thinking, I can't let this big fucker get his hands on me. If he extends an arm, I need to break it. See how that works? So if you throw a punch and I get to the outside and I pull this way and push this way, right dead center in that elbow, I'm going to snap your elbow. But the harder you throw that punch, the easier it should be for me to snap that elbow, providing that I get out of the way. Now, I do Kung Fu blocks versus other martial art blocks because I like getting to the outside, snapping an elbow, and then striking. When most people will, if they throw a punch, which would be their right hand, they're coming at your left side, you block and you go in, which is okay, but the subject of that is their left hand. See what I'm saying? So if I block this, but I don't catch that left hand, I'm going to catch that left hand. And so you have to use what works. For me, getting to the outside works. For you, getting to the inside might work. You will learn because experience will be your teacher. But also remember, when you block that right hand with both hands, they still have a left hand. And they still have 2 feet. So you need to be cognizantly aware that they have more than just that one jab that they're throwing out. Now, with Wing Chun, when you throw that jab, I can back up all day. So if I block that and you start throwing feet, I can block it with my legs. I can block it with my hands. I still got this hand to protect me too. Versus block and strike where you can counter because we're doing karate. You see the thing? Kung Fu, I get to the outside, snap, strike, pull, strike. There are a lot more options that take less time with Kung Fu. To teach that to somebody over 6'2" is going to be a fucking issue. Plus, you have to add in the factor of gravity. If you're 6'2" and you're trying to fight somebody who's 4'11", you got to swing down to hit him. Gravity's not going to be your friend when your balance is tipped. If you watch my other video with the jumping spinning kick with my hands tied, you'll understand why I say there are some do's and some don'ts that you need to worry about. Excuse me. Good God, that was new. Point being made is that you're going to have to adapt in every fight, regardless of who you're fighting. It is easier for me to adapt because I'm small. It will be hard for me to teach anybody over 6'2" how to adapt because they're big, and I've never been big. I've always been small. And everybody is bigger than me, but everybody always believes that size is a factor in a fight. And I tell people all the time, that depends on who the fuck you're fighting. If you're fighting somebody who's never been in a fight a day in their life, yeah, you're going to beat their ass. You fighting somebody who knows their way around a fight, been in a fight a few times, knows how to take a punch, knows how to roll with the punch, then you got a problem. And you got to put that work in. So last and final thing, all right? As I said, experience will be your teacher. And this thought just came to me, so I better go ahead and put it out there. If you're fighting someone who's never been a fight a day in their life, there's the any given Sunday rule, and there's the beginner's luck rule. As I said earlier, the best fighter doesn't always win. That scared dude that's never been in a fight before a day in his life might have your number that day, i.e. Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson. So, you kind of got to weigh the punches. You got to be careful going in, and you got to know what the fuck you're doing. You need to know the way around a fight, because if you don't, you're going to sleep. Sorry. You're going to sleep. Y'all might not like this video, but it's the truth. If you're fighting somebody who hasn't ever been in a fight a day in their life, there's still a chance that they can beat your ass. Don't think that there's not. If you've been in a fight with somebody who knows their way around a fight, that person is probably bound to beat your ass. So don't think that it's not possible to get your ass kicked in a fight. The second that you underestimate your opponent due to how they look, how tall they are, if they're female or male, or beyond that, you are probably going to get your ass kicked. So don't ever underestimate anybody. And don't let your size lead you to the hospital because you think that you are a giant amongst men. You very well may be, but even giants can fall. Thank you for watching. I'm Echo Fang Grey Wolf. This is Kung Fu Epic number 2. Be seeing ya.